Hello and welcome to the No Stakes podcast. I am your host, Ante, and I want to just take a moment to thank you for joining me and give you a little insight into what the No Stakes podcast is. In a nutshell, the No Stakes podcast, this little space, this little corner of the internet here, is a place where people can share their truths, to ask for help, or to educate people on how to get help or how to be help to people that are going through things and struggling. It's a space for people to share their testimonies, to allow for hope, especially in these dark and hopeless times. It is a place where people can humble brag and share their triumphs with a community that will support them, that will cheer with them, to again let you know you're not alone in this. We need you. The world needs you. And if something as simple as allowing you the space to celebrate yourself in front of a community that will support you in your celebration is what it takes, hey, that's what this is. Share your stories. And lastly, it's a place to share your talents. Um, there's a lot of talk on the internet right now. It's trendy for people to go on these healing journeys, or I've heard it referred to as many different things, especially for, I've seen a lot of chatter in the dating field, dating world. Um, Excuse me, there's like a whole gender wars thing going on that I had no idea. I have been isolated and out the game for my own reasons and my own peace and mental health. And so it was interesting, y'all. It was real interesting to see those conversations and to see the number of people, women in particular, that were like, you know what? No, I'm good. I'm on a healing journey. And it was heartwarming to see that there were so many men. Granted, there's still the ignorant ones that they don't want to heal, they don't want to grow, they don't want to be better, they don't want to adapt to the shift that's happening in the world. And that's fine. You be who you are. If that's what brings you joy, being miserable and mad and antagonistic, if that's what brings you joy, do you, boo. Just don't bring it this way. But for the ones that I did see, it was just so incredible to see these men, these male therapists, these male influencers, these men just talking about healing and really stepping up and embracing all of themselves. And some fully acknowledging, maybe, it's time we start working on that stuff because we out here tripping. And it wasn't because they admitted that they were tripping. It was just to see so many people open, especially men who are expected to be just this one thing, to see them finally taking the reins and showing each other, no women in the mix, to say what you should and shouldn't do. This is men talking to men. We just happen to be, since it's public, we just happen as women to be able to see it. But I dare not jump into those forums because it is incredible. You hear me? Incredible to see these things happening. And so this space is for us to come together and share what we see and what we learning. And to those people who are posting that content and stuff like that, I'm gonna tell you now, I'm lurking. I'm watching. I'm learning from you. And I'm about to be like Nick Fury of these here healing journey Avengers. Okay. I'm watching you, got my eye on you, right? I'm here with it to see what you're doing because I might one day want to have you on the show so that you can share it with more people, men and women. and everything in between, the whole spectrum. If you are human, this is for you, right? So that's why the No Stakes podcast exists. Um, in a nutshell. So now that we know that, I want to talk about today's theme, which is impact and what impact truly means. And I am someone who is in the association nonprofit space by trade, have been for 10 years. And I've heard this word impact a lot over the years. I'm sorry, did I say 10 years? Child, 13. I started in 2010. I've been in these association streets for 13 years. Can't believe it. But over those years, like I was saying, I heard the word impact a lot. And I thought I knew what it meant, but I just wanted to make sure. And so I looked it up to just before this episode to make sure I understood impact, not by just the noun form of it, you know, with car crashes or crashes, but also impact from influence. And just as I suspected, impact is simply the strong effect on someone or something. And so as I frame that in this in terms of like the healing journey, it's impact is important. Um, Impact is something that we really need to understand because it is going to show up. Impact's influence will show up at weird times, times you don't expect it. Um, for example, personal story here, story time. I went to see Ant-Man and the Wasp, and this is a recent story. This is only a few months ago. I went to go see Ant-Man and the Wasp. And if you've seen some of my other content, or at least the advertisement for, or the announcement of this podcast, um, part of my history includes trauma around sexual abuse and sexual assault. And so, as a result of that, as a result of those experiences, I am very leery of doing things at night by myself. And it became this challenge for me, um, in particular, as like my friends got old, or, our friends and I were getting older and they're getting married and having kids, and their availability isn't what it once was. And so I have to, of course, I can't not live. So I have to push myself because I would be remiss and I'd be lying, y'all, if I didn't say I sat and went straight old lady for a while as I tried to figure out how to get through this depression that I was going through. I am on the other side of it. Thank you, Lord. And that is why this podcast, also why this podcast exists. So I can help other people get to where I am now, which is not, I'm happy, happy, joy, joy. I have something better than that. Happiness is fleeting. I have peace. I am no longer violent with myself and my thoughts. And I know that sounds a little extreme, but there was a time in my life where I had thoughts of self-harm, um, acted on it. And if I wasn't having thoughts of self-harm, I was allowing the words and experiences of people across the years to live rent free, just straight squatter style in my head. And it was constantly assaulting my sense of self. And I have reached a place in my life, finally, where I don't feel that violence towards myself anymore. I may not be where I want to be, but I'm much better at handling me than I was before. And I have peace. And peace is so much better than happiness because peace means you're not getting disturbances don't last long if they come at all. So, I had to get there, but back to the original story. So, all that to say, I have very real hangups about going out at night when I'm on my own. And so I don't do it often. And I am very strategic about how and what sort of activities I do when I go out by myself. I don't go to clubs. I don't go to highly sexualized environments at night by myself. So that means that I won't be going to clubs. I won't be doing things where people are getting intoxicated because, as you know, when you drink, if you don't know how to handle your liquor, it's no telling what type of person will show up. And sometimes, as I experienced when I went out the other night recently, sometimes people don't like the word no or don't understand when they're being told no. Even if they're, nah, I'm good. For whatever reason, it's not sinking in here that I said, no, I'm good. And as someone who has overcome the experiences that I've overcome, wasn't a good look for me. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about movies. So I decided to have a few drinks before I go to the movies. So I decided to Uber over. And I'm very nervous because I'm in a car with a man by myself. So I'm already on edge and anxious because part of the story of my sexual assault and sexual abuse was me in a car thinking I'm going one place, end up somewhere else that I didn't expect to go. Okay. Which ironically was the movies. So I just put that together. So that's probably why I was extra anxious for this particular thing. But the concert wasn't as nerve inducing as the movies was. But made it through. The Uber driver didn't bother me. He picked me up, dropped me off where I asked to be dropped off. And go to the movie. I stopped to go to the grocery store to get snacks. And by this time it's dark outside, but I am in a pretty well lit area. Grocery store has glass windows and it's all along the street that I'm walking along. So it's not like there's no places it's lit. It's close to I think there's like a fire station. Like it's close to a lot of stuff. A lot of first responders, there's police activity over there because there's a mall and movie theater, not mall. Yeah, there's a mall over there. Mall, movie theaters, whole nine. So, and it's not exactly it's not the best area, but it's not the worst. Like, it's not great, but it's not gentrified. So, all I have to say, I'm on alert from this grocery store to the movie theater, which is about a block and a half. During that block and a half, I encounter this man. This man is minding his business, and he sees me anxious, just on high alert because I'm trying to get to where I'm supposed to get to. I have been drinking a little bit, so I'm a little bit intoxicated, not like sloppy or anything like that, but just I know that I'm not at my sharpest because I've had a couple drinks. So I'm a little anxious and I'm kind of like, okay, I just got to make it to the movie theater. I walk past this, I hear someone walking behind me. But again, we're on a sidewalk, it's along a highway, it's busy areas by a mall, also by a train station. So there's plenty of activity where people would be walking behind me, but because me and my anxious brain, I'm on way high alert. I'm not thinking about what could possibly be happening. I'm just hearing the footsteps behind me, and it's a man walking behind me. We eventually lock eyes. He sees that I guess he sees that I look real, real nervous. I don't know. But he tells me he immediately he doesn't stop me, like physically stop me, but he's just like, no, I'm not trying to talk to you. Just, you know, and it took me aback. So I was like, I'm not trying to talk to you. And for me, that's not what my brain was. My brain was trying to survive, even though I was not in danger. My brain was trying to survive this block and a half walk without anything crazy happening to me. Because in my mind, I'm not at my destination yet. There's people walking behind me. I'm very anxious. I don't come out at night. All of this, I had to really sit with myself after I got home in that moment and enjoy the movie or whatever and think about the impact of what happened to me 20 something years ago. How that showed up in a brief interaction with a stranger on the street. This man did nothing to me. And it's funny to me that he went to thinking that I'm afraid that he's trying to holler or talk to me. And in addition to me overcoming issues with body image and self-worth, and just how I look in general, um, it was the furthest thing from my mind, this man wanting to talk to me. I just was so anxious. I wasn't in danger, but I was so anxious and living in the influence and the impact of that sexual assault that I didn't even I just I didn't even realize. And I have done work. I have gone to therapy with someone who specializes in sexual abuse and sexual trauma and rape. I have been through years of therapy for depression and a lot of other stuff. I talk to people, and none of that negated the influence, because the thing that traumatized me, the circumstances that traumatized me the first time up to the activity, had played out again. Thank God that I had done the work, because I don't know how I would have responded had I not. But all of that to say that the impact, there's weight to the impact of the things that we do, the things that we experience, and the things that we don't do. And I want to leave you all before the end of this episode with this thought. If you're thinking about, if you're struggling or going through something, or thinking about checking out, um, everything you do has an impact. And there are people out there that need you. There are people out there that you need, that are going to impact you in a positive way. And I, for those who are in that space, I get it. I know that there are days, I'm getting ready to start crying. There are days, excuse me, there are days that you just don't, you just don't. You don't want to get up. You can't. Everything's too heavy. But there's probably someone out there. Oh, excuse me. There's probably someone out there that you don't even know pays attention to you, that you don't know you have a positive impact on, or you don't recognize it, because all you can see and all you can feel, and understandably so, is the weight and the impact of just getting out of bed. It's hard. But you can do it. I did. I did. And I'll share this and then we'll wrap up. What started as what oh gosh. Ooh, crying. Forgive me. The same month that I tried to harm myself because I felt so alone, so unseen, so misunderstood, so isolated, so defeated, so hopeless, so helpless, so defeated that I didn't want to live. But just when I had reached the point where I was ready to give up, something amazing happened. I met the first of two of my closest friends. I'm talking, I want to say 2 weeks after I tried to harm myself because it got too heavy. My very best friends who changed my life in more ways than I could even express showed up just in time. So I say that to say, if you can't get out of bed, that's all right, baby. Grab your laptop, put it in bed with you. But just don't check out. Because that thing, those people, and maybe it's this podcast and someone you see on this podcast, I hope that this thing that I created allows for that to happen. But there's going to come a thing, or there's going to come, someone's going to come by that's going to help provide the thing, the thought, the idea, the concept, something totally unrelated to what you're struggling with, that's going to help you overcome where you are right now, so that one day you too can experience the peace, joy, and happiness that comes along with living a healed life and doing the work to understand you. Because you deserve that. Because it is your right. And because you are the only one that can make that happen. Even if the tools and resources show up, you got to allow it. You got to be able to sit with it. You got to be able to accept it. So I hope that me sharing these stories and being candid with you, oh, excuse me, all the tears, me being candid with you really helps you realize that healing is possible. Because I used to smile every day through years, almost, I would say, almost a decade of depression in varying forms. But I'm on the other side of it. It sucks. Oh God, it sucks. But here I am to let you know that you're not alone. Here I am to give you the space to just say, hey, I need help. Here I am to hopefully give you a little hope. And here's your opportunity to do the same. Uh, if you want to participate in the show, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I was gonna be crying like this on the first day, and I thought I may or may not take out the tears. I don't know. I might keep them in though. This is important. Um, this is your opportunity to participate and be an active captain in the ship of turning things around because you can. It might take a while. It might suck ass for a few years. I'm not gonna lie to you. It may not be a consistent suck, but there might be some times that suck. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like everything is roses, gumballs, and candy. Because it's not. It's gonna be some tears. You're gonna cry. But you have to, because I can almost guarantee if if you've been through what I've been through, you probably cried a couple of them by yourself in a corner at night, but you didn't really let yourself have that good cry. As a matter of fact, I challenge you, right? I said I was gonna go, but I'm gonna be like that. I'm gonna be like your mama, that mama that be like, "Oh yeah, I just called to see what you was doing. I don't want nothing." And then tell you they gonna hang up the phone, and then you look up, it's 30 minutes later, and they still talking. That's me right now. I'm not gonna keep you another 30 though, because I'm tired. But I am gonna say this. Um, First, please email your stories if you want to be on the show, if you want to share, if you want me to read your stories and kind of speak to you that way. Please drop a comment, send me a message. If you're on Instagram or TikTok, yeah. If you're on Instagram or TikTok, send me a DM. And there's always email. So email No Stakes Podcast, spelled just like it is here on the screen, at gmail.com. Again, that's No Stakes Podcast at gmail.com. And send in your stories. Or if you want to be a participant on the show or be a part of the dialogue, I welcome you. Um, or if you just want to submit your creative expression, or the whatever it is, art of any form that you have that you use to help you get through or cope or manage your stress or things like that, you want to share that but not necessarily appear on the show, excuse me, then again, send it to No Stakes Podcast, spell here on the screen, at gmail.com, and I'll share it with the world on your behalf. And why share it here when you can just share it on social media directly? Because this is a place to have that kind of stuff curated. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not. I'm telling you, I'm speaking this into existence. This right here, this No Stakes Podcast, this is gonna be something special. This is gonna be a place where the who's who of who's who will come. Okay? And I'm not talking about celebrities. I'm talking about you all. Influencers, that's fine. On occasions, I'm not sitting here saying that I would turn away. I would absolutely turn someone away that was not genuine in their efforts to participate in the show. But I'm not going to turn away influencers because I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Got to build a community, and their reach is necessary, but this is not for them. This is for us. This is for you, really. More than anyone else, it's for you. So be the who's who. And you never know. That journey, that path might take you down somewhere incredible, take you to high heights you never knew you could go. Maybe we'll have started here. It's taking a small risk to be your most authentic self, to be your healed self with support and no emotional stakes because we're all healing here. You're not losing anything. You have everything to gain. So come on in. Join the No Stakes podcast. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.